All right, let's dive in. Today we're tackling stress, right? Managing it and building up that mental resilience everybody's after.
Yeah.
And for this deep dive, our guidebook is Mental Health Strategies, which I gotta say is packed with tips to, well, navigate the craziness of modern life.
I think what's great about this source right off the bat is it doesn't try to pretend stress is something you can avoid.
Right.
It's like straight up, it's everywhere. Omnipresent is the word they use, but the key is not letting it take over, you know?
Yeah, I used to have this whole power through it mentality.
Oh, yeah.
Not so sustainable, as it turns out. But reading about acute versus chronic stress, that was kind of a wake-up call from this source.
It is because it's easy to lump all stress together, right? But it's like, think of it this way. You're running for the bus, heart's pounding, that's acute stress. Intense, but over quick.
Makes sense.
Chronic stress, though, that's the constant pressure, never letting up, like work deadlines, family stuff, bills.
Yeah.
It just piles on.
And that's when those nasty symptoms kick in, right?
Yeah.
The source has this whole list. Headaches, sleep problems, can't focus.
Yeah.
Your body's screaming at you.
Exactly. And that's when you got to take action. Luckily, mental health strategies has tons of practical strategies. Time management, for starters.
Okay, time management. The source is big on to-do lists, which might sound basic, but honestly, just getting everything out of my head and onto paper, it's like a mental declutter.
It really is. And once it's down, you can prioritize, right? The source mentions the 80-20 rule, where you find those tasks, maybe 20% of them, that'll give you the biggest results.
Ooh, I like that.
So say you've got this massive project, instead of getting lost in tiny details, find those 3 key things that'll get you 80% there. You'll feel less stressed, A&D, more accomplished.
Makes you feel like you're actually making headway.
Exactly.
On that note, there's this idea of buffer time that the source talks about. I used to jam-pack my schedule back-to-back everything. No wonder I was always frazzled.
Buffer time, it's like giving yourself breathing room. Meeting runs late, traffic's nuts. Without that buffer, you're always playing catch-up. But with it, you can handle those hiccups without your whole day going off the rails.
It's like that little bit of cushion so you don't hit the ground so hard when things inevitably go wrong.
Yeah.
And speaking of finding calm, the source goes into relaxation techniques. Meditation's first up. I know some people might think it's a little out there,
Sure.
but the science behind it, it's actually pretty amazing.
It is. Studies show meditation can physically change your brain. Like there's this part, the amygdala, that's all about fight or flight response.
Right.
Meditation chills that out. So you're basically training your brain to be calmer under pressure.
So for a newbie, like where do you even start? The source talks about this 4-7-8 breathing technique.
Oh, that's a great one. Simple, but really works. Inhale for 4 counts, hold for 7, exhale for 8. Even a few minutes of that can slow your heart rate, calm your whole system like a mini reset button.
I like that. Something you can do anywhere, anytime. They also mention progressive muscle relaxation, which sounds, I don't know, intriguing.
It's basically you tense up different muscle groups, then let go. Like imagine you've been at the computer all day, shoulders are tight.
Oh, yeah.
You do this with your shoulders, jaw, legs, whatever's tense, and it helps release all that built-up tension.
Like a self-massage from the inside out. And speaking of things that feel good, the source is all about exercise for stress relief. Not just physically, but mentally, too.
It's huge. They mention the obvious ones, running, swimming, getting that heart rate up, endorphins flowing. But yoga gets a shout out too, which is nice because it's movement and mindfulness.
Yeah, I remember my first yoga class, I was like, whoa, I feel so much calmer, like all that tension just melted away.
It's powerful stuff. And even just walking, the source points out, 20 minutes in nature can make a difference.
So easy to fit into your day, right? Even if you don't have time for a full-blown workout, which, by the way, all this ties into the next section, all about healthy lifestyle stuff. Nutrition, sleep, hydration.
The foundation, right. You got to take care of your body to handle stress. And the source is clear. These things work together. It's not just about one thing. It's the whole package.
I'm always interested in the nutrition side because I know if I eat junk, my mood and energy just tank.
Yeah.
Cutting back on sugar and caffeine like the source suggests, that's helped me focus so much better.
Oh, yeah. Those spikes and crashes from sugar and caffeine, they don't do you any favors. The source is all about a balanced diet, fruits, veggies, whole grains, fueling your body right so it can handle the stress.
And speaking of fuel, can't forget sleep. Man, when I'm sleep deprived, I'm a total grump. My fuse is so short.
Totally get it. The source recommends 7 to 8 hours, good quality sleep. It's when your body repairs, your brain consolidates memories, hormones get balanced out. And what's key is consistency. Same bedtime, same wake-up time, even on weekends, helps regulate your body's natural clock.
It's like setting that rhythm for your body to follow. And speaking of rhythms, resilience is up next. It's not just about coping with stress in the moment. It's about bouncing back from those tough times in the long run.
And what I love is the source says resilience is a skill, something you develop. It's not like you're just born with it or not. That's so empowering.
It means we can actually get better at it.
Yeah.
So how do we build that resilience muscle? The source has a few key areas, starting with perspective shift.
Perspective shift, it's all about how you view those challenges. Instead of seeing them as these impossible roadblocks, you reframe them. See them as opportunities to learn, to grow. Like you're taking that negative situation and finding the positive spin.
So instead of, oh no, this is terrible, it's, okay, what can I learn from this?
Exactly. It's choosing that more empowering viewpoint. Then the source dives into self-reflection.
Which is basically, you become a detective in your own life,
Yeah.
right? Looking back at your experiences, the good and the bad, to figure out what works, what doesn't.
You got it. You learn from those experiences so you can make better choices next time. And the source also highlights having a strong support system, close friends, family, colleagues. Those relationships give you stability, that sense of belonging, which is huge when things get tough.
Like a safety net to catch you when you fall. And on that note, the source gets into fostering positive thought patterns. Gratitude practice is a big one.
Oh yeah, super simple, but powerful. Take a few minutes every day, write down 3 things you're grateful for. Could be anything, nice weather, good food, a kind word from someone.
It's funny, even on my most stressed out days, when I do that, it shifts things.
Mm.
Reminds me there's still good stuff, even amidst the chaos.
Totally. And then there's affirmations, which I know some people are like, ugh, cheesy. But it's not about repeating empty phrases. It's about choosing words that uplift you, encourage you.
You know, I used to be that eye-rolling person about affirmations, but then I started saying them in the morning instead of focusing on everything I had to do. I am capable. I am strong. It really changed my mindset from dread to like, okay, I got this.
That's amazing. It's about consciously making your self-talk more positive. And lastly, the source talks about visualization, which I've always found really impactful.
Okay, tell me about visualization. I've heard of it, but not sure I get how it works.
So you use your imagination to picture yourself successfully handling a tough situation. Like say you're nervous about a presentation. Close your eyes, visualize yourself nailing it, feeling confident, in control.
So it's like a mental rehearsal. You're training your mind and body to be comfortable in that situation.
You got it. The source says by repeatedly visualizing that positive outcome, you're not just reducing anxiety, you're actually setting yourself up for success.
Wow, that's so cool. It's like giving yourself a mental edge. Then the source moves into goal setting and self-discipline, which I think are key for making real lasting changes.
Absolutely. They introduce the SMART goals framework: specific,
Yeah.
measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound. It's a way to set goals that are motivating and you can actually do something about.
Okay, break down SMART for me. So specific, that means having a clear target, right? Not just, I want to be less stressed, but I'm going to exercise 30 minutes a day for a month.
Exactly. Measurable means you can track your progress, log your workouts, use a fitness tracker, whatever works. Achievable means it's challenging, but realistic. You don't want to set yourself up for failure.
You need that sweet spot, right?
Yeah.
Push yourself, but make it doable.
Yeah,
Relevant means making sure your goals fit with your values, what you want out of life.
right. It's your definition of success, not someone else's. And time-bound means setting a deadline, so you have that sense of urgency, accountability.
So it's like giving yourself a timeline to work with. I love how structured that is. And the source also talks about rewards, celebrating those small wins to keep you going.
Because that's important. Acknowledge your progress, give yourself some positive reinforcement. Doesn't have to be anything huge, right? Relaxing bath after a week of hitting your meditation goal, or a fun outing with friends after you hit a big milestone.
Love it. And I think it's time for us to take a break, too.
Yeah.
That wraps up part 1 of our deep dive into stress management and mental resilience.
Woo! Covered a lot, but there's more to come. Part 2 is where things get really interesting. We're going to be looking at how technology can actually be a huge help in finding calm and well-being. Stay tuned.
Can't wait.